back at it again. It's the guy Spencer. You know what time it is. It's time for the top 10 intriguing games of the week, but not quite the games. This is the preview show. I've never done a preview show before, so this is kind of new. But we're going to kind of go through some of these districts in East Texas, the most intriguing districts in East Texas. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 districts that we want to go through. And probably not going to go through 12. We'll keep it with top 10. So the top 10 most intriguing districts going into the season. Of course, a lot of scrimmages are going to get played between Thursday and Saturday. Just all depends on when your first game of the year is. The season is right around the corner. Things are getting fun. It's just a great time for high school football and especially East Texas football. You know how crazy we get down over here. So, let's get into the top 10 most intriguing districts, I guess is what we'll call this one. A preview show of how we think this thing will play out. I usually don't even do big predictions like this. I usually, try to predict, who I think is going to win a game from the top 10 most intriguing games. But I'm out here going to go out on a limb and try to guess who's going to the playoffs. And we're going to figure out who's going to finish in the top fours and several districts in East Texas. So with no further ado, let's get into it. Let's start with the smallest ones that we're going to cover first. I'm not covering 2A football. I'm just not. Terry Bussey, amazing player. Vosky Howard, amazing player. Coach Jacoby Williams at Beckfield, amazing players. And there's some more amazing players on the 2A level, but I ain't covering them. No, thank you. Let's get into it. Let's start with 11 3A Division II. And let's talk about the probably which will be the most exciting regular season game in a district championship. Other than Longview Lancaster, there may be a couple like Texas High and White House, and of course Chapel Hill and Kilgore. But I think Dangerfield and Harmony in 11 3A Division II. I think those guys are going to go 1 and 2, and I think Dangerfield is going to win the district. Dangerfield is led by a surplus of players that were graded last year. A lot of them graduated, but Dangerfield, of course, has Chase Johnson, the quarterback, coming back, and of course, one of the best athletes in East Texas, a guy that finished number 10 on the top 100 list last year, Aaron Hampton, at receiver and DB for them. So they've got a lot of talent coming back. Of course, Harmony, on the other hand, is coming off a huge season, probably the best in recent school history for sure. With Boston Seahorn taking his team all the way to the 5th round. A lot of players coming back. The leading receiver from Harmony coming back. Again, I forgot this guy's name. But, Harmony's got some tools coming back. I can't wait for those two to match up. They played a pretty good game last year. Dangerfield won. And then Harmony, of course, were the biggest winners, traveling all the way to the 5th round last year playoffs. So I think Wascom is going to finish 3rd. I think Elysian Fields will finish 4th, followed by Hugh Springs, New Diana, and Queen City. So that's 11 3A2. We're going to skip 9 3A2 and go into 6 3A Division 1. And this district is Tatum, Jefferson, Gladewater, Atlanta, Sabine, and White Oak. And that's the order that I got them finishing in this year. I think Keelan gets it turned around out there. They were in the district championship game last year. A weird little deal. They had too much rain. They played the first half. They had to come back Saturday to finish the game, which is it's just a little icky, right? You never want to do that. You never want to have to just delay a game. But the rain was terrible. Ended up playing the game the next morning in Tatum, and Jefferson won the game, won the district title this year. I think Tatum gets it done. I think Tatum will win the killing. This is year 2 for him. He's built up great things at Wascom in his previous job, and he's got Cole Watson and is it Carson? I believe it's Carson Gonzalez from Tatum, who was an incredible running back / DB / wide receiver last year for them. I think they've got probably the 2 best players in the district coming back. Jefferson is a talented team, but they're graduating a lot, especially at those skill positions. They've got Bryce Clark, I think he's a junior this year, might even be a senior this year, but Bryce Clark is coming back for them up front offensively, and that's probably the only guy I know off the top of my head who's coming back from Jefferson. Gladewater, I expect Gladewater to have a lot of pride, fight back. I got them finishing 3rd behind these 2. I know a couple of coaches over there. They're excited about some of the younger guys that are getting their first varsity experience this year. So just kind of ready to see what it turns out. They had a really bad year last year. So let's see what happens in Gladewater this year. And then my 4th team from that team, Atlanta, who started the year off really hot. and then kind of came down to the reality a little bit after pre-district. But, we'll see what these guys are talking about. But those are my 4 playoff teams from 6, 3, 8, 1. Let's go over to 5, 3, 8, 1. With, of course, who I think the best quarterback is returning in East Texas and Winsboro. I believe Winsboro is going to win that district with Kyler Finney, of course, coming back. He was incredible last year, amassing for over 4,500 yards and 55 touchdowns, both through air and ground. A good athlete and a really good quarterback as well. And he's a coach's son, and this is his senior year. So I really expect Winsboro. I honestly expect them to go 10-0. The team they lost to last year, Pottsboro, they're returning their running back, Taylor McBride, who was a fantastic player, kind of outside of the realms of what I call East Texas, so I didn't really include them in the top 100 search. But Taylor McBride, I think, is coming back, was a really good football player. Mount Vernon is coming in. I got him at 3rd place right here, only because I don't know who they're replacing such production with. Jaden Horton at receiver. Of course, Mackenzie McGill, who moved on to North Texas. Braden Bennett, who was a senior last year, who tore his ACL in the third game of the year. They accounted for a lot of offense, and I just really interested in seeing how they recover and come back. So I got them in 3rd right here. And then the 4th team, I don't know. See, I would put Mineola here, but Mineola's graduating. Dawson Pennick's the next guy from Mineola. So I put Commerce here. I think Commerce will probably get that last spot. But I don't know a thing about Commerce, Rains, or Bonham, to keep you a buck with you guys. 7, 4A, Division II, the big district. Really good football teams in this district. I think the winner is going to be Pleasant Grove, and I think Pleasant Grove is going to do amazing things this year. I got them winning district. They are by far the most talented team returning in that district. The quarterback, Corey Johnson, an Arkansas commit. You've got a Duke commit in Caden McFadden, who is a standout safety / outside linebacker and a running back for them. Oklahoma State, Jalen Borley, a running back, outside linebacker type. In Oklahoma State, committing Caleb Palkman up front. Caden Allen, who I believe was the number 5 lineman, physically one of the gifted athletes. He's just not big. He's probably like 5'11", 240, but he is a man up front, and he does a really good job for them, especially with the scheme that they have out there in Pleasant Grove. Gilmer, of course, I got him coming in 2nd. This is Caden Tennyson's 2nd year to be the starting quarterback. Had a pretty good year as a sophomore. Got hurt towards the end of the year. Of course, Rohan Fluellen, who has moved on to TCU to play receiver, kind of slid over to play quarterback. Did a pretty good job for him there at the end of the year. Just out to Carthage, I believe, in the playoffs last year. So, that ain't a bad out. If you lose to them boys over there, they just keep winning rings and rings. So I understand that for sure. And 3rd place, I got Liberty Ilo. See, listen to y'all. Listen to the growth. Ilo, right? I couldn't never say that before. Liberty Ilo, I got them coming in 3rd. And I've got Pittsburgh coming in 4th place in this district. I like Pittsburgh. Aiden Manley, tight end, defensive end type guy. Marcus Moten, who was probably going to start running back for him this year. I think they have enough to get in 4th place in this district, and even compete. They might even get 3rd because Ilo's graduating their quarterback, so who knows what they're going to come back. W.T. Jones, a linebacker from Liberty Ilo, coming back as well, and then rounding out the district, I think North Lamar and Spring Hill will finish in those last 2 spots. So I'm going to skip 8, 4, 8, 1, even though Sulphur Springs is in that district. Maybach and Paris. We're going to skip that district. We're going to go 8, 4, 8, Division II. And let's, of course, talk about the Carthage Bulldogs. Most intriguing thing about the Carthage Bulldogs, of course, they've got a slew of talent coming back. KJ Edwards just named a 4-star running back. He's about to be a sophomore, coming back after a pretty good freshman season. He's definitely on the radar, of course, for making the top 100. They're bringing back every running back they had last year. There was a 3-headed monster last year, so we'll see who gets the bulk load of the touches out there. But I think KJ Edwards might be the most talented guy out there. Of course, they got a wide receiver out wide in Brady Manning, who was a man out there, 6'4", a target for sure. Had an incredible freshman year at Elysian Fields. Hasn't quite had that production. Hasn't quite met that production, but with Carthage graduating Montrell Hatton and graduating Noah Patty, who were just incredible football players last year, I believe that Carthage and Braden Manning is due for one of those years. And of course, their quarterback has the last name of Surratt, and this is what a lot of people in East Texas have been waiting on. Sort of like similar with Haynes King in Longview. You know, you finally got the coach and the coach's son playing quarterback, and you just expect great things out of them right away because obviously Carthage has been great, and then this kid's been growing up in that culture his whole life. Center, I got them in second place. I think they're one of the more talented teams coming back. Quarterback Imani Cash Cross is one of those dudes. Of course, they've got a great talented running back in Caden Dixon, who I think is the number 3 back returning in East Texas. Graduating a pretty talented receiver. I think he went to either SFA or Lamar and Jamarian Evans. But they do have some talent out there in center. And with Cash Cross, one of the best quarterbacks coming back in East Texas. I think I had a number 8 in the preseason. I think the center will finish second. I got Van third in this district. They're returning their sophomore quarterback from last year. A pretty good offensive line. Ace Bostic, huge right guard. Jose Suarez, huge right tackle. Been starting since like they were freshmen or something like that. Man, incredible players. Don't know much about their defense. They're graduating Bo Barden, who was an incredible linebacker last year. I think he finished like number 36 or so on the list. And so I don't know what they'll do defensively, but I know they'll be in there competing. Rusk, once again, another team last year could run the numbers up. They had a McCowan at quarterback and Aiden, and they had a great receiver in Braylon Traywick. But those guys are gone, and I don't know who's going to replace them, and I don't know how good they are. So, but I do respect them. I think they got them in 4th. I got Bullard, Brownsboro. I got him there at 6. They've got an incredible receiver in Jakyle Baker, who was one of the best in his class in Texas. Made the list last year at number 100. And you're not going to get higher than that with a 2-8 season or whatever they went last year. And then I've got Kenton rounding out the 8 4A Division 2. Let's go over to 9 4A Division 1. Of course, we kind of alluded to this earlier, but Chapel Hill, Kilgore. What's going to happen between these two? I think the favorite has to be Chapel Hill. 2 fifth-round appearances in a row, and they did it with a freshman quarterback the first year and a sophomore quarterback the next year. And now this junior quarterback, Demetrius Brisbane, who was the newspaper's East Texas Dream Team quarterback going into the season. I had him as number 5, the number 5 guy coming back. But he's an extremely talented guy, committed to SMU, going into his junior year, but he's an incredible player, an incredible athlete. I'm ready to see what strides he takes at quarterback this year. But Chapel Hill has to replace major production out wide. They've got Javen Mayfield coming back, a pretty tall guy. He's committed to SFA. And they've got other pieces like Darius Dean and other guys that made plays last year. But they are replacing Deuce McGregor, who's been one of the best receivers in East Texas history in the past 3 years. Tyson Berry, who's now at San Diego State. So it'll be pretty interesting to see what Chapel Hill does to replace those guys. But those dudes are just crawling with athletes. Davion Ross at linebacker. Terrence Brooks at linebacker. I think his name is Terrence. But incredible production guys who made the top 100, and Chapel Hill has had as many guys make the top 100 since the start in 2020. That's an incredibly talented school. Kilgore, on the other hand, coming back, they're replacing Demarion Van Zandt at quarterback and Isaiah Ross. Not sure what that's going to look like. The other quarterback, I believe it's Williams. I forget his first name. He was dynamic at times in his role as an athlete at receiver, and at his times when he got the chance to touch the football, either late in games or when he came in and gave Demarion a spell. I think he's really talented. PJ, what's his name? They got PJ. Is it Wiley? Let's go back and look at it. Sorry, guys. You know me. Y'all know how I do. PJ Wiley. So they got PJ Wiley at wide, who not only starts at wide receiver, but also starts at linebacker for them as well. So Kilgore is talented, but I think Chapel Hill is a lot more talented. I think they're by far the favorites going into District 9 4A1. Rounding out the district, I got Lindale at 3rd. Casey Poe, of course, is the Alabama commit up front. Will Hutchins is gone. Trey Mazrashin is gone. It'd be interesting to see how they replace them on the offensive line. That's been the strength of, probably been one of the best East Texas offensive lines over the last couple of seasons. Let's see how they replace those guys. I got Jacksonville. They're losing Devin McEwen. And they had another outside linebacker in Coda Kennedy that was pretty good last year. They're losing those guys to see how they bounce back. Then I've got Palestine, Athens, and Henderson rounding out 9-4A Division 1. A couple of districts left. 8-5A Division 2. Texas High, who has, like Chapel Hill, like Longview, have produced 9 to 10 guys on the list per year. Texas High is just creeping and crawling with athletes up there in Texarkana as well. Texarkana would make one hell of a football team if they combine all three schools. It would be interesting to see what that would look like. If they combine all three schools, I might say they'd have more talent than what Longview if they combine all three of their schools. But nonetheless, that's another story. Texas High coming back. David Potter, I believe, is a quarterback out there. Had a pretty decent sophomore year. Has some great receivers to throw it to. TJ Gray is coming back. They've got 2 outstanding running backs, a junior and Javari Johnson, and then, of course, the sophomore who, played as a freshman, and Tredarian Ball. Those guys are incredible. They're both coming back. I think they're going to be easily, I see them winning district, and I don't think anybody in this district, talent-wise, can beat Texas High. White House, I got them in second, and the reason why I got them in second is because of their quarterback, Josh Green. Now, it won't look like how it did last year. Josh Green kind of aired it out. He had 2 Division I type receivers outside wide, and Oregon State's Jamal McCoy and then DeCarlton Wilson as well. But he's still a fairly accurate player, and he's Tim Tebow in the high school version of it. If he's got to run it 50 times a game, he will. He's physical. He's a former linebacker. He can do that. He also will throw it 40 or 50 times a game if that's what it takes. He's a really good football player, and I think he's going to will this White House team to some victories against some of these other opponents in the district this year. At number 3, I can't believe it, I've got Pine Tree coming in 3rd place in this district. I've liked what I've saw over the summertime from them. And of course, they got Dalen Evans, one of the best defensive tackles in the nation, a Texas A&M commit, extremely athletic, who's going to play some offense at tight end. He's also a great defensive tackle as well. That's what he's going to A&M for. So they've also got a pretty good defensive back in Khalil Deckard, who's coming back to be a junior this year. So anxious to see what Bachman gets done over there in Pine Tree if they take steps. I think I got them boys making the playoffs this year, finishing 3rd. I've got Mount Pleasant finishing the district out in 4th place, followed by 5th place Marshall. I'm interested in seeing how Hallsville replaces their do-everything quarterback, Jace Mosley. He was incredible last year. He ran for 1,600 yards and threw for about 2,800 on top of that. He was the entire offense. I haven't seen anything like that at Hallsville, and I don't know if they can replace that type of production. That's why I've got them so far towards the bottom. And then, of course, I got Nacogdoches rounding out the district. An incredible linebacker out there in Braxton Jones. And then Andrew Rogers, the defensive end, I think he's going to do some really good things for them as well, an all-district player from last year. Let's get into the money. 7-5A Division I, the alma mater, the home school, the job. Longview, I got us winning district. Who you think I'm saying we're going to lose to? You must be crazy. Longview in this district. This is one of the tougher districts. We've got 5 legit playoff teams and some incredible athletes in this district. I think Longview's going to win the district, of course. Lancaster, I've got them in 2nd. McKinney North, who they are loaded. I got them in 3rd. I've got Lufkin in 4th with their incredible running back, Kedron Young. I think, and you can really go 4th or 5th in here with Forney. Really, in all honesty, there's 5 quality teams in this district with Forney, Lufkin, McKinney North, Longview, and Lancaster. All 5 of those teams, any given night, can give you hell. I think Longview is the most consistent team. We've been the most consistent for the last 20 years, I think, out of all these groups, and I think that's consistency in that program is going to help us in big moments and big times this year. But McKinney North has beaten Longview in the last 2 years. Lancaster has been knocking on the door the last 4 years. We've played them since 2020, so this will be the 4th year in a row. Lufkin, traditionally good. Kedron Young, Notre Dame commit, 4-star type running back, really one of the best running backs in the nation to me. Forney has a running back that was either a freshman or a sophomore last year. He was flat out incredible last year, and that was in a backup duty. Now he's going to be the starter for sure, and he's going to try to run over and run by everything this year. McKinney North had an outstanding junior as a running back last year. His name, I forgot it, but he's an incredible runner. So this district is stacked with great runners and stacked with great physical football teams. And then I've got the Mesquite crew North Mesquite, and West Mesquite, rounding out this district. And then the last district that we'll cover is the 10-6A Division 2 district. Of course, Tyler Legacy is in that district. I didn't mention Tyler in that district. I'm sorry. I didn't even mention the Tyler Lions. And I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. They're coming off of a 2-8 year. They're extremely talented. New head coach in that district. They're going to fight. They're going to compete. But I've got them finishing ahead of the Mesquite schools. I think the order will be Longview, Lancaster, McKinney North, Lufkin, Forney, Tyler, and then the Mesquites, North and then West Mesquite. Like I was saying, back to the 10-6A2 school. This is Tyler Legacy's district. Tyler Legacy, what are they bringing back? Some incredible athletes in Luke Wolf, first, the quarterback, who was absolutely athletic and just dangerous. He'll be a senior this year. Brooks Gallagher, who graded out last year as an 86, was a strong inside linebacker for them last year. He's a senior this year. And Travis Jackson, who was the newspaper's best player defensively after a 6.5 sack a year last year and a couple of offers. They believe he's going to be the player of the year. I didn't grade him out that high last year. I had him at like an 86, 87. I don't think he's the preseason defensive player of the year, but, it's all good. He's going to go out there and compete. And there's growth between junior and senior year. So we'll see what happens on that. I was wrong on Jordan Renaud majorly, right? I don't know how that one slept through the cracks on me his junior year, but his senior year, he went out and performed a 95, and he was like number 20 or 19th on the list last year. So there is talent in Tyler. It's just a new head coach, a new system. Their underclassmen look really good, so Tyler Legacy has something on the way. I don't know if it's enough to compete in this district just yet, but we'll see. It's a new staff, new regime. We'll see how those boys get to rocking and rolling out there in Tyler. And that's those are the districts that I cover, including West Russell's district in 9-3A Division 2. And then 8-4A Division 1 with Sulphur Springs. We cover that one as well. That's about 30 schools that's all that I'm looking at to try to see who are the top 100 players in East Texas. And so it's fun, man. There's a lot of talented guys coming back. To me, I believe Longview had the most kids that graded out last year that are returning. And, of course, this is a special group of seniors out here in Longview. We've got 15 of those guys who are 3-year varsity lettermen. So a lot of guys on this list that will be really good football players. Chapel Hill's got a ton coming back for that were graded out last year, and then of course Carthage has a lot coming back that were graded out last year, including now you got to include KJ Edwards, who was just pretty phenomenal as a freshman and expecting to do big things going into his senior year. So this group, it's Beast Texas, baby. It's a lot of talent. It's going to be a fun season for sure. I can't wait for the first week to get this thing started and get it popping. But yeah, we're gonna call that. This is the top 10 most intriguing districts. Just a quick little preview. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed it, and y'all check us out for the top 10 most intriguing games that will start next week. With that being said,